My World by Andrea, and I'm being joined this evening by Heather Ann. We are at TNT at NYC, and how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We had about an hour drive. I have a knee injury, so I'm a little stiff, but other than that, I'm doing good. I'm so excited to be here.
Good. And you're here as an author, and
hmm
you're doing the signing. And what did you bring with you to the signing that the fans could buy, or anything new that you have coming out?
what I have that the fans can buy is I have my two books, Fractured Paths, and then I have For Her Amusement, and that is a novella that's on the Bit on Love series that just came out this summer. It was 8 authors did a series around the same bachelor auction, and I'm sitting next to Samantha Cole, who has a book in that series as well. So she has her Bit on Loves as well. And I have some new swag. And I also will be taking pre-orders for the Misfits anthology that is coming out in November. So I'll be taking pre-orders for those paperbacks. We had such a problem with KDP with 20 authors getting permission and everything since everything from Create Space moved over. So I'm going to take pre-orders for that. So that's what's new.
Okay. And how long have you been an author?
I just had my second published versary on the 7th. So
Nice.
I've been published 2 years. I've been writing probably all my life.
Okay. And I'm assuming you have a job that you do during the day.
Right now I do not. Right
Okay.
now I am unemployed. I'm looking for work. And I'm a single mom and I'm a Cub Scout mom, and that's been keeping me really busy. And with my injury, I've been out of commission for about 6 weeks. So I just started the job search again this week. So
All right.
when I did publish Fractured Paths, my first novel, I was working full time, single mom, Cub Scout mom, and I would be up writing until 3 o'clock in the morning and then up at 6, go to work. So
Right. And where did you grow up at?
I grew up in Rockland County, New York, which is about an hour from here.
And do you still live in that area?
I do.
Okay. And where can your fans, and hopefully we'll get new fans now that you're on the YouTube channel, where can they find you, like on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter?
You can find me on Facebook. It's Heather Ann Author. Um, Twitter is Heather A. Writes, and Instagram is Heather Ann Writes, and it's Ann with an E.
Okay. And since you have a few books
Mhm.
out and you remember when your first book came out, what it felt like, what words of wisdom or encouragement could you give a new author who's getting ready to release a book or getting ready to start writing their first book? Think back to what it was when you, like I said, when you had your first one come out. What words of encouragement or suggestions would you make to them?
I would have the suggestion of have a very good marketing plan in place first before you publish because I didn't. And I was not. I guess I just kind of thought a blog just did everything and you didn't have to do anything, and I didn't follow up. And there weren't a lot of signups on Fractured Paths, and I had a pretty good release. But I didn't have like a plan in place. I kind of thought you just write a book, and also edit. If you read Fractured Paths, there are some errors. I'm having it re-edited for that reason. Like a lot of many authors do have their first book re-edited. I'm in the process of having that done. Spend the money on an editor and spend the money on marketing. And if you ever find yourself in a place where you're not able to write, just write something every day. I had writer's block for a year after I had a death in my family, and I just made sure I even journaled every day. Even if I couldn't get words down, I was writing.
And do you have any other signings the rest of this year, or where we be able to find you the first part of next year?
Right now, I am signed up for Authors Invade Columbia and South Carolina, November 10th. I am not 100% with my injury if I'm going to be able to make it. I'm not sure yet. We're going to see how I handle this event physically, and then I'm going to make my decision. And I've already, MJ Carnell is amazing. She's the coordinator of that event, and she knows my situation, and she's so understanding. So,
Okay. You had mentioned earlier that you had been writing your whole life. What made you decide at that point to write your first book? what happened that led up to that, besides writing your whole life? But
Well, one of the things for me is like I really stink at like follow through. Like I'm always the type of person that's going to say I'm totally going to do something and I just never do it. I always said I wanted to write a novel, and I had something I guess profound happen in my life a few years ago. An ex-boyfriend of mine committed suicide, and he had gotten involved in drugs after a suicide in his family. And I watched him overdose. All these things happened, and I didn't deal with that. And one night in the middle of the night, something just came to me, and I ended up writing the entire ending of Fractured Paths, like the last three chapters. And then it just came to me, and it was kind of like a therapy for me. I would sit in Starbucks, like hysterical crying. And I just ended up writing it. I had an idea for something else, and I had run it by somebody, like, oh, this is a great storyline. But all of a sudden, this just came to me, and it was one of those things that I said I always wanted to do. And at 40 years old, I published my first novel.
and are there any authors out there that inspired you with your type of writing that you do?
I am going to say Jay McLean, um, helped me out a lot in the beginning. She's amazing. She writes NA, the More Than series. Larry Mae Briscoe was my mentor. Still to this day, we're really good friends. She guided me so much, through my entire journey. J.C. Santo and I started writing at the same time. Um, I'm really close with I just became very close with an author in California who's a horror author. Angie Martin, and her and I do videos every week helping other authors and just talking about things. And Samantha Cole, who's here, we realize we live 5 minutes away from each other, so we try to get together. And, anytime I need help with something, advice with something, those are the people that I bounce it off of. I found the community just to be completely, Shay Scott is another one that helped me on this journey too. Marissa Oldham, I can like name a laundry list of people, and that's what I think this community is really about, helping each other. My circle, my tribe, we're always, on messages, on texts, whether it's book related, life related. I've met some of my best friends, in this community.
As I stated earlier, we're at Tempting and Tantalizing, if you didn't know what the TNT was, and we're in Staten Island, New York. And it just really got started this afternoon, and it is total craziness outside the room where we're at. Is this your first one that you've been to?
This is my second one. TNT last year was their first event, and I was a signing author last year as well. This is my favorite event of the year.
Yeah, it's a little craziness, and I will be filming interviews in the room with the book signing, which ought to be interesting.
There's over 500 people in attendance. So
yeah, it's going to be
huge.
A little crazy, so you're going to be able to witness exactly what it's like to be here. So you'll be sitting firsthand when you see these interviews. But I just wanted to get your perception of what it was like, the craziness, and I think it's probably going to be a little bit crazier this year than last year.
Like one big happy crazy family. Like once you sign at this event, like you're like a little family. We have throughout the entire year in the like attendees group, in the authors group, we have like Janine and Jennifer do an amazing job. This is one of the best promoted events. It's one of the most engaging events. And they do things that are never done at events before. And they make it really fun, and they make, whether and I had posted about this on my Facebook last week. It's like whether you're a reader, a writer, a model, a photographer, press, they make anybody just feel welcome. There's a lot of shenanigans that go on this weekend, but the fun kind, like not the drama-filled kind. There's no drama at this event. Everybody is just here to, see their friends, hang out, meet new people. It's a very they're out there right now, like hanging out with, there's models, there's authors, there's readers, everybody just hangs out, and it's one big like happy book party, really is what it is. And they do. Last year, you would have never known that it was a first year event. Um, every author that signed at that event posted in the author group how blown away they were. There's going to be like a lot of music, and what another thing that I love about this event is it's very charity oriented. So there's a whole bunch of, Janine is doing her nights with the Knights, and they're doing the models are going to be wearing their cuts, and they're raffling off the cuts for breast cancer. And then tomorrow, the raffle baskets that we all donated are going to Bikers Against Child Abuse. And they keep it in their community, which I think is excellent. That that it's going to someplace like local where the event is, and a way to give back to that community that is, welcoming our community into their community just for a weekend.
I want to thank you, Heather Ann, for taking time out of your schedule. I know you have a busy night tonight. A lot of things to get done. A lot of us are just arriving,
Mhm.
and she is one of those. And she took time out of her schedule to come and sit down with me before all the craziness kicks in. And I just want to thank you, and hopefully, you have your fans that will see this, and hopefully we get you some new fans that will
Thank
start
you.
following you and reading. And I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'm going to say good night for now. This is Andrea from My World by Andrea. Have a good evening.